The station calls itself Nevada's Forgotten Frequency. Old bumper jingles, weather for towns the map forgot. It feels like company. You even smile until the announcer clears his throat and says, "In memoriam tonight, Patricia Miles." The wheel jerks in your hands. Patricia was your wife. Was. You stare into the windshield where the radio glow paints the glass, and there, like frost from the inside, you see the suggestion of a face. Her face. Lips parting as if to hum the song you danced to in the kitchen, the year everything went wrong. Your mouth forms a word you don't say out loud. No. The illusion that this was just music and miles breaks. The radio isn't playing memories, it's broadcasting. Evan Miles, 15 years long haul, finds a forgotten frequency to keep him company through deadline stretch. Friendly announcer, vintage bumpers, weather for towns that don't exist anymore. It feels warm, safe. Then the announcer clears his throat, like your grandfather before a bedtime story. In memoriam tonight, Patricia Miles. Evan's heart drops. Patricia was his wife. Was. The radio glow paints the windshield, and just for a second, the fog on the glass shapes her mouth. The exact way it moved when she hummed along to the kitchen radio at 3 a.m. before chemo. The illusion fractures. This isn't nostalgia. This is a broadcast for people who don't breathe anymore. Humans are wired to find patterns. In caves, that kept us alive. In trucks at 3 a.m., it makes us hear faces in the dark. Psych folks have a name for it: pareidolia. Evan tries to medicalize the fear. He talks himself down. Noise isn't a message. I'm just tired. Behavioral examples. He taps the radio. 1, 2, 3, like knocking on wood. He sings off key to drown the whispers. He cracks the window for the slap of cold air. He swerves onto the rumble strip just to feel something unquestionable. He counts mile markers like prayers, but the station keeps sneaking details only grief would know. The announcer mentions her pet names, the smell of orange cleaner she loved, the lullaby she never finished. The brain wants coincidence. The heart hears proof. Pause. There's a theory. Last brainwaves don't vanish. They scatter. Electromagnetic fingerprints, looking for receivers. Radios, after all, are just machines for catching ghosts. Forums, old ones in grayscale themes, talk about a Cold War trial, the Echo Project, recording battlefield last thoughts for later retrieval. Some say it failed, some say it never ended, just drifted across AM, hungry for listeners. That night, Evan's CB coughs out a line in his own voice. Don't turn around. The cloth over the speaker flexes like a throat. Evan's breath fogs the mirror. In the windshield's reflection, a silhouette stands behind his shoulder, exhaling just out of sync. Lightning splits the sky. Dust hangs in the cab like stars. The shape unthreads, but the echo of his breath plays again through the speaker a beat late, like the radio learned him. If you ever catch 3:33 a.m., watch for these tells. Behavioral examples. Static that pulses like a heartbeat. Songs you almost recognize from eras that don't line up. Your name in the break, spoken in a voice you miss. Directions to places you haven't told anyone you're going. Evan tries to triangulate it. New routes, different nights, a different rig. The station follows like a stray that knows your footfalls. Case study number 1. A Utah trooper records tomorrow's fatal pileup tonight. He never works graveyards again. Case study number 2. An Amarillo nurse hears morgue names on 333, quits on the spot, sleeps in her car, radio on. Station goes silent, but only when she listens. Case study number 3. A Chicago theater janitor hears applause in empty seats and his name whispered from the stage. The marquee lights itself for no one. One morning, Evan passes a chrome diner, closed. Inside, a radio glows on the counter. For a blink, faces flicker in the steel. There, gone, there. Like headlights in rain. You can blame exhaustion, loneliness, bad coffee and longer roads. Or you can admit we built this. Night shift people, truckers, orderlies, guards, are paid to live between emergencies, to be the only heartbeat in a building that forgot its pulse. When silence is your job description, silence starts talking back. The Echo Project? Maybe it wasn't about war. Maybe it was a prototype for what society already does. Store the voices of the used up in systems they'll never escape from. We made a world where the lonely would always have a signal. We just didn't think about who else might use it. Evan stops driving to deliver. He drives to hear. Towns blur, mile markers count backwards. The logbook changes tone. Manifest turns confession. If you're hearing this, tune to 333. They're not evil. They're unfinished. Lightning lifts the desert into day for a heartbeat. The shoulder is crowded, row after row of transparent figures walking the same direction, as if horizon were a promise they refuse to stop believing. Inside the cab, reflected versions of Evan mouth the same phrase, tune in. He doesn't remember parking. The truck doesn't remember moving. The tack needle is a watch hand waiting on permission. 3 days later, a deputy finds the rig idling like a tired animal, door ajar. The seat remembers a weight it can't hold anymore. The CB loops a message in Evan's voice. You shouldn't have listened. Sound doesn't die. It thins out. Hides in rooms and hollow places until someone dials the right number. Maybe souls are like that. Maybe grief is. People love to say the dead haunt us, but most nights it's the living who haunt the dead, pacing outside closed doors, rattling knobs with questions nobody can answer without waking the whole building. 333 isn't proof of afterlife. It's proof of after noise, unfinished sentences, last breaths, the ache of things we refuse to let be over. And loneliness makes a perfect receiver. Here's the part you won't like. The only way out is chosen silence, not punishment, discipline. When the radio glows like an open door, and the voice you miss most asks you to step through, you put 2 fingers on the dial and close it. You sit in the hum of your own breathing. You let the road be nothing but road again. If some part of your life keeps calling from a frequency you can find but shouldn't, don't answer. Because not every signal is an invitation, and not every voice that knows your name is meant for the living.